Well, hello there, everybody. This is the Chatted Up Sports Network, and today,
16, 17,
what are you,
18,
what are you doing over there,
19,
T? What are you doing over there?
20. Oh,
Yeah, what do you got going on over there,
whoa,
money?
whoa, whoa, whoa. Sorry, man. Call me, my second set of exercises, man. I was just using my resistance bands to knock out some curls, you know.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Got these from Sports LA too. What a coincidence, huh?
What a coincidence! You love that place.
Yeah, yeah, I do love that place. They got all my needs. You know what
Well,
I mean?
if you got a minute there, T, we're gonna try to talk a little fantasy football. What do you think? You down?
Oh yeah, I can fit you in.
Okay.
No problem, buddy. What we
Thank you,
got?
bro. Thank you, brother. All right, well, check this out. I'm gonna throw it to you, and why don't you give these people a few fantasy football busts for this year? This is our third bust segment, so y'all better be paying attention.
Yeah,
T,
do
go ahead
that,
and give them a
please.
few.
I'd love to. Thanks. For my number one bust QB, this is also going to shock the world, but we're basing this off of what this player did last year as opposed to what he's going to do this year. Um, with the controversy surrounding the New Orleans Saints and
Hmm.
everything in the contract dispute, Drew Brees is
Oh,
going to be one of
wow.
my busts for the year. I'm not
Wow.
necessarily saying that he's going to have a terrible year, but this is a guy who threw for over 5,000 yards, 30 plus
Yeah.
touchdowns, and this dude doesn't even have a contract yet. You know what I mean? The New Orleans Saints are pretty much slapping this dude in the face, and he's the face of the franchise. And it's getting to a point where he might hold out. So that's never good in football. You know what I mean?
No.
For sports. So
No.
that's my number one bust. Number two, pick any one of the Miami quarterbacks that you want because they're downright trash. Nobody wants to play for a team that Jennifer
Oh.
Lopez owns. Shown they traded Brandon Marshall for whatever reason for I
Yeah.
don't know for Snickers and some M&Ms. Uh, it's ridiculous. Nobody wants to play for that organization. They're going down the drain. Um, a bust I have on the off or at the receiver spot is Nate Washington. Zoo surpassed 1,000 yards last year, 7 touchdowns, but that's because Kenny Britt was hurt. He's back now. You know what I mean? They drafted Kendall Wright out of Baylor last year in the first round, so he's probably going to move back to the number three. He's not gonna match those numbers that he did last year. Another guy, receiver Steve Smith. He had an extraordinary year, 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns. I'm not saying he's going to only get like 700 yards, but I don't think he gets those numbers again. I think they'll key on him more. They'll also key on Cam Newton. I think he still has a good year, but not as good as he did last year. Last but not least, running backs back to the Dolphins. Reggie Bush had over 1,000 yards rushing last year. The first time he's done that in his whole career. I think he's been in the league 7, 9 years.
Yeah.
6 touchdowns. Like I said, they have nobody to throw to. They might have a rookie quarterback starting. Um, I mean, they don't have any offensive weapons. You can stack the box. I don't care
Hmm.
who your offensive line is. You can have the line from the Dallas Cowboys. It's
Hmm.
not going to happen. And Frank Gore, they have too many running backs in that stable. I think his numbers cut down. Ran for 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns last year, but they drafted why's the name leaving my head from LaMichael James from Oregon
From
last year.
Oregon.
They already
Yeah.
have Kendall Hunter, and on top of that, they have the boy from Mississippi State. What's his name? Help
Hmm.
me out on that one.
Anthony Dixon.
Anthony Dixon. So I think his numbers cut down. I don't think he repeats what he did last year.
Yeah. No, you're right. They got a lot of running backs over there. I mean, they even had a quarterback playing running back for a while, that Michael Robinson from Penn State for the last couple years. So that was kind of funny. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and rip off a couple busts here. And they say that busters ride the bus. So let's get started. The first one is Matt Schaub. Matt Schaub's got a good team, but no one seems to be able to stay healthy. Andre Johnson seems to be injured all the time. And then you got Owen Daniels, who seems to be injured all the time. And on top of that, they kind of rely a little too heavily on Andre Johnson. I'm not convinced about Kevin Walter and Jacoby Jones and these guys. This is not enough complementary goods to help Andre Johnson out, and it's just too much pressure on Arian Foster. They're going to have a winning record, but he's just not going to be a top 10 fantasy quarterback in my opinion at all. At running back, I got Jonathan Stewart. Every year people get hyped up in the D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart sweepstakes. Who's going to, I'm going to get one of these guys. They're going to be a third back. I don't like either of these guys. They're not going to produce. I mean, Jonathan Stewart next year will probably have about 600 yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns. You know, these guys split too many carries. Really, it should be D'Angelo Williams that's the featured back, but for some reason they just don't seem to give it to him, even though they signed him for like 5 years, $40 million. I don't understand what's going on over there. On top of that, Cam Newton is that offense. It goes through Cam Newton. He's throwing the ball for 400 yards a game. He's running the ball. He's taking the goal line shots. He's really the star there, and I don't have a problem with it. I think that's how they're going to win in the future if they build around him. At receiver, Laurent Robinson. Laurent Robinson was good last year on Dallas, had about 900 yards, 11 touchdowns. That's not going to happen in Jacksonville. Blaine Gabbert can barely toss the ball around. It seems like, even though I was a fan of him at Missouri, it doesn't seem like he's doing too well in the NFL. At the same time, they run the ball a lot with Maurice Jones-Drew, and if they are going to toss the ball around, they're probably going to get it to Blackman over there because they drafted him in the first round, and I think they got a big investment in him. I don't see Laurent Robinson having 900 yards and 11 touchdowns. I see him having about 500, 600 yards and maybe like 6, 7 touchdowns. And I totally agree with you on the aspect of Nate Washington as well, T. The thing with Kenny Britt coming back, and as awkward as that team is sometimes, I just don't think that Nate Washington's going to be as productive as he was last year. And it's too bad because I had him on my team and he did good things for me.
Yeah, but in love with that man.
Nate, the great leader of our nation, Sickening. Washington. You know what? He did okay as a number 2 or 3 receiver. He did okay for me, but he's not going to do okay for you all out there this year. I'm going to ask the fans. Is there anyone that you thought is a bust that we didn't mention? We've done about 3 shows now, so you've got a couple of busts going on there. Let us know what you think, and I'll let you get back to those curls. I'm going to go get a burger. Yeah. I'll see y'all later.
Get it smothered and covered.
Covered and smothered. All right, y'all. Have a good one now.